Boys, early morning lift. Now, I hope I'm not absolutely stripping your eardrums, but I fixed the mic audio, so I turned up the gain a little bit, so hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to hear. Put up my window real quick. Let me put up my window real quick. I'm a window open guy. I'm not an AC guy. I always love the window open on the freeway, on the highway. It don't matter. Window stays open. But, for you guys, we'll give y'all some special treatment. We'll put the window up. But yeah, I feel like we need a proper introduction. I made 2 videos now, but haven't really told you anything about myself, which, I don't think you really need to. I think you need to put some type of value out there, but everyone's curious about one's lifting journey, one's starting point. But yeah, I've been lifting for about a little more than 3 years. We just passed 3 years a couple months ago, I think. And I started out like any other on that bro split. I was a Sam Sulek disciple, so you know what that means. Rice and beef, 3,400 calories a day. At 150, bro. I was a $145, a 150-ish. 3,400 calories a day. Chest, back, arms, legs, repeat. No rest days. I was training like an enhanced athlete at 145 pounds. But, we all kind of start in that bro split area. And I made pretty good gains. I mean, I didn't have rest days, so it was pretty much 2 times frequency, but holy shit, bro. You ever want to humble yourself? Look back at the workouts you used to do, bro. Like, I never did bad movements, per se. I was always, stable movement guy. Actually, that is a lie. Because I used to be back squat, heels elevated, shoulder width apart, ass to grass. I mean, it's pretty stable if you go lower weight, but holy fuck. Like, I think that's a big problem with lifters now is everyone wants to come in the gym and they want to know what is easiest, what is the least amount of sets I can do, what is the least amount of intensity, what is the most RIR I can use to get the most gains without putting in that much effort, without getting my hands dirty and stuff like that. It's like you need to know what working hard feels like. You need to know what it feels like to have like a squat bar on your back, and you gotta get this shit up because you forgot the safeties this time. Like you need to know what pushing yourself to failure. And this is a big thing that I believe is if you're a beginner, you at least need to know what failure is, right? You can't come into the gym and know how to base your RIR. Bro, you haven't even went to failure. You don't know how many reps in reserve you have left. And I think reps in reserve is kind of more an intermediate to advanced thing. Like, I just think sometimes it's hard for me to gauge, but I feel like after the years of training, it's a lot easier because I was going to failure on every movement prior to this for, 2.5 years. I've only been lifting smart for, since like December, and it's summer now, so like half a year, right? So, it's not like I knew for the longest time, but, you have to spend time training to failure, understanding what it feels like, because Now it's much easier for me to know, especially zero RIR. Figuring out zero RIR is very, very easy because I know I'm not getting this next rep. I know I'm not gonna be able to, or it's gonna be a half rep, or you know. So you just have to, you know, figure out what failure is, and then based off that, and always be questioning your effort. Like, you know, everyone loves to check off that box. Like, oh yeah, I train hard. Yeah, I train hard. It's like, well, you know, it's a skill like anything else, and you can get better at training hard. Don't just check off that box, because that is everything. Effort is everything of a set. Bro, I forgot I have a Monster here that I haven't been drinking. Fuck. Bro, zero sugar. That's the sweetest thing I've ever fucking put in my mouth. Pause. Bro, that's crazy. The sweetest thing I've put in my mouth. Holy shit. Bro, I love going to the gym when it's dark as hell outside. Sun's barely coming up over there. How does it look now? Oh, this looking isn't even that bad, bro. Yeah, we'll keep it off for the rest. But anyways, yeah, so started off with the bro split for a long time, bro. I was on bro split forever, and then, holy shit, I had this little stint of upper lower when I didn't know shit about programming. Like, oh my god, if you guys can do yourself a favor, if you guys can do, bro, what's going on with the camera here? Why is it like, why the fuck am I at the bottom of the screen right now? Anyways, yeah, I had no idea what programming was trying to do upper lower. Bro, I was doing like 3 sets of every muscle group. Bro, my upper day was long as fuck. I was doing like 3 sets preacher, 3 sets this tricep movement, 3 sets flat bench, 3 sets incline. It's like, why was I attached to 3 sets so much? I don't know why. Anyways. But yeah, and then I went back to bro split because I was like, fuck this. Like, this is like the worst. I hated it. And, oh, hold on. But yeah, I had no idea how to program, so I went back to bro split. And I was on bro split for, you know, up until, yeah, January. Then I started push, pull, legs, upper, lower. So push, pull, legs, rest, upper, lower, rest. Very complicated split for really no reason. You could just do push, pull, legs or upper, lower and just change like your frequency. Like you could do 3 times frequency, upper, lower. You could do upper, lower 6 times a week, infinite. You could do, you know, there's so many things you could do. You know, push, pull, legs, upper, lower isn't a bad split at all, though. Like, you can do it. Anyways. So, it's actually pretty good because, you know, if you're really not looking to do legs that much, you hit legs twice a week, and then you hit your upper body 3 times a week. So, upper body 3 times freak. Holy fuck. That was our exit, buddy. I guess we can just go the long way. Not the long way, but all the way around, but it's all good. Anyways, so, yeah, went, you know, bro split, upper, lower, bro split, push, pull, legs, upper, lower. Then I went upper, lower, like upper, lower, rest, upper, lower, I don't know what it was, but it was upper, lower. And then I was doing upper, lower. Then I was like, you know what? I don't know if it was upper, lower 6 times a week, but then I might have switched to upper, lower 6 times a week and had one rest day, or was just doing it infinite until I needed a rest day. You need rest days. You know, you might not feel like it. You might not feel like, oh, you know, I can work out without rest days. I'm here to tell you, you know, most likely, there is a majority chance that you are not a genetic anomaly that can recover faster than everyone else, right? You're not Wolverine. You're not, I don't know, Deadpool. That's not you, bro. So, you like most of the time you can't beat your genetics, your science, like there's certain people who can, but it's like if we're comparing it to the Twin Towers, it is a wormhole-sized bar graph outside of the Twin Towers, if you can put that into perspective. Like the amount of people being affected by these really, really niche things, it's probably not you. I'm sorry. But anyways, but yeah, you need rest days. So I think training full body, having that extra rest day in between really, really helps. And now we can get into this. Why do I think full body is the best split? I hope it's not like crazy loud for you guys. It's loud as fuck for me right now. So why do I like full body? Well, I follow a 1-set protocol. So since I'm working out every other day, I'm getting 3 to 4 sets a week, right? If you're training full body 3 times a week, not every other day, which is something I'll probably switch to once I get back into school, so I can have more of like a concrete weekly schedule. Because right now I kind of have like any time I want. Like I just work full time in the summer, so I can work out whenever I want. I have no responsibilities, to be honest, so it's kind of nice. But bro, no shot, I just missed my exit again. I don't think I did, but yeah, so you get more rest days, right? We have less crossover fatigue because you're taking an extra day in between the sessions, so you're not being as affected by the previous one. You're feeling fresh, ready to go. So So another thing is the first sets. So since you're doing a 1-set protocol on the full body every other day, you're going to do a 1-set protocol. Oh, fuck. Is this guy trying to get over? Big guy truck. Hold on. Let me lock in. Let me lock in. But yeah, so the first set's, it's the most stimulating set. So every set after that has diminishing returns. It's not to say the sets after that don't have a stimulus or don't, give you more stimulus, but they give you a significant amount more of fatigue, and you get most of what you need out of that first set. So it comes with a caveat. You need to be putting a significant amount of effort into the set. You cannot baby the set. You cannot... Bro, what type of fucking off-ramp is this? But, yeah, so the first sets is a big reason why. And you're gonna really need to lock in for this one set. You need to understand that this is your only set for the next 48 hours. So if the stimulus isn't there, you're not going to grow. And I'm sorry about the camera again. I gotta figure out this mount. I don't know why it's it's kind of funny, but hopefully it goes back now. Hey, buddy, look at me. There you go. But yeah, so, I really think you guys should switch to a full body routine, you're going to feel less fatigued, you're going to have better recoverability, and it's a much easier session to track and to repeat. So, it's something that I like about just knowing that I'm doing the exact same session every day or every other day, and I just need to improve at it and progress it. It just does something in my brain that just really allows me to lock in and focus on progressing the movement. And it's something that's blown out of proportion, bro. Progressive overload. We need to be progressing. It is overstated that progressive overload matters, but it is understated that you need to be progressing. You cannot be lifting the same weight. Now, when you take into consideration progressive overload, most people are just throwing extra weight on the bar, hoping they do it. They're not standardizing their form. They're not doing the same movements every week. They're not standardizing the variables in order for progressive overload to show, right? Because progressive overload is not the adaptation itself, but it is an expression that the adaptation has occurred. So, for a muscle to grow, it will need a strength increase. Like, as your muscle grows, it will be stronger. It's not to say that if you get stronger, you're growing muscle, because you can have neural adaptations, right? Your brain is making the movement easier for you when you introduce kind of a new movement pattern. So the first, couple sessions, it might just be neurological adaptations that have made the movement easier for you, and not, essentially muscle growth. And this is why consistency to the same exercises really matters. Because if you are switching up your exercises, which everyone is doing so frequently, you don't know if the adaptations are neurological or actual muscle contractile tissue adaptations. So, keeping things consistent, keeping things stable is what you're going to want to do. Like, people who are just searching for the most optimal exercise and are just hopping programs, hopping movements every other day, you're spinning your wheels. You're not going to go anywhere. Like, obviously, you're going to progress eventually. You're lifting over a long period of time. Muscle building is very, very forgiving. You can do it on a whole lot of different programs with a whole lot of different schemes. But, if you're getting into science-based lifting and really learning physiology, learning, all this literature, the point of it is to optimize the variables for progression, right? We want to progress more, so we're using science to aid us with that progression. So when you're switching all these exercises because you're in search for the most optimal one, in theory, you're kind of working backwards, bro. Like, you're searching for something more optimal to help your progression, but by doing that, you're stunting your progression by constantly switching movements every week. So, let this just be a lesson. Stay consistent, and yeah, we'll see you when we get in there. We're gonna speed this lift up because last time it was a little long, but I think we're doing 142.5 again. If I can find it. 142.5, we're gonna try and get 6 or 5 again. That was a fucking grinder, the last one. Let's move on. Alright. 175 for 5. Last session's set was absolute dog shit. So we're gonna try and make it better this time. I think we got like 4. But that 4th one was a grinder. But let's see what we get right now. It's not too bad. My upper arm was moving a lot though. I want to be more stable. Alright. Tricep extension, 90 degrees. They don't benefit from stretch mediated hypertrophy, so we only want to go to 90. And we're trying to keep our upper arm still and just extend the tricep. Up 1 rep. That was an easy set. That felt really good. Oh. Alright, we won't film the left side, but we'll catch you on lateral raise maybe. Alright, cable lateral raises. We kind of overshot last time. 1 for 25, only got 2. So I'm back down to 22.5. We'll hopefully get around like 5. Or maybe 4. We'll probably get 4. That was a good set of 4 before form breakdown. Alright, so that was a good set of cable lateral raises. Like I said, we overshot last time. Only got 2. But let's talk about Intra since we're taking it out now. It's 300 milliliters of orange juice, 15 grams of honey, and the reason we want multiple carb sources is because we have dextrose, sucrose in there, fructose. You mainly want like a glucose and fructose source. So, having like juice or berries with, your oats or your rice cakes or whatever. Talking about Intra, orange juice, honey, things of drinks. And can you tell I've exerted myself already? Anyways, yeah, you just want something to top up your blood glucose level, because the reason you feel fatigued in your sessions is because you have low blood sugar, right? It's not because you're depleting your glycogen or anything like that. Like when you're working out, you're only depleting 24 or 25% or 25 to 40% of your total glycogen stores, and 40% is if you're doing like a crazy intense full body workout, like you're probably on the lower end of that, right? So it's not the reason that we're depleting our glycogen, that we're feeling the fatigue mechanisms. It's because our blood glucose level is so low that we need to top it up so we feel fresh, ready to go in our workouts, right? So let's get some music playing. We're gonna hit this pec deck for, hold on, what do we got? What do we got, guys? What do we got? Come on. Can y'all find it for me? 265 for 5 last time. We're gonna try and get 6 or 5 this time. But good form though. We really want good form on this. Okay, we got some Katy Perry playing. This should definitely help. Let's go. Come on. I think that was only 4, but that's fine. That was a good set. It was really good form. All right, we'll see you on the next one. All right, so back to our conversation about Intra. It's really beneficial, especially after a set like that, right? Smith deadlift, where we're doing 3 sound plates. You're gonna feel fatigued, you're gonna feel tired, you're not gonna be able to put full effort into the rest of your sets after that because you're feeling fatigued. So what we wanna do, take a swig, swish it in your mouth 5 to 10 seconds every 5 or 10 minutes, right? Every couple sets, just take some, right? You're gonna feel fresh, you're gonna feel motivated, you're gonna feel good to go. And you know, like, gym performance is paramount. It is more important than everything else, right? If you had your great diet, right, because you're all locked in taking your meal prep everywhere, if you had that diet without the stimulus of training, you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna look the way you do, right? We need to keep gym performance high, and that's the most important thing, really. So yeah, let's just get into this set, man. Upper back row, trying to keep our elbows flared. Fucking hate these rubber ass grips, bro. All right. That was a stretch for 5. Went a little too crazy on that last one. Could have kept it in the tank, but we move on. All right, so onto Smith deadlift, Smith RDL, Smith SLDL, whatever you want to call it. Up in the weight by 5 pounds here. Trying to go for, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, somewhere in that range. We're up in the weight, so once you're at the weight, just kind of have a open mind to your rep range, staying within your rep range. You don't want to drop too much or, you know, anything like that. But yeah, once you're at the weight, don't have like, oh, I need to match reps. Like, progression isn't linear. I would say using double progression is way better. So let's say 5 to 7 rep range. I'm doing, let's just say 100 pounds on the deadlift. I'm gonna wait until I get 7 reps, and then I'm going to go 105 or 102.5 and go back down to 5 and work my way back up to 7, rinse and repeat, right? progression isn't linear. Stop trying to just add weight and match your reps. We need two methods of progression, because it also just feels good psychologically. Like, you progressing doesn't mean you gained muscle, but it does something for us, right? Like, internally. So that's why you always want like double progression method, just so you can get those little wins, right? Getting an extra rep, or going, up in weight but going down in reps. So yeah, enough talking. Let's get this set. Come on. That was a good set. Good technique. Cut it off. Maybe 1 to 2 RIR. Especially on these type of compound movements, you don't want to injure yourself and overextend yourself. Keeping that rep in the tank, keeping that 2 reps in the tank can be really beneficial, especially on these compound movers. Yeah, I'll see you at the next one. All right, how we doing? We're on to lat pull down now, single lat. My lats are terrible, so I switched it up to this. I was doing tuck row before, now we're doing tuck pull down. It's the same function, so you can switch those. You can switch those 2 variations. But yeah. For the longest time, I kind of neglected something close grip, or when I did do it, I was retracting my scapula. You want to keep your scapula not retracted, right? So you don't want to come back. You don't want to even wide pull down. You don't want to turn that into just a row, right? People are leaning back, coming this far back, but you're just turning that into a row. So same thing with this. I don't want to bring back my scapula. I want to keep it forward. I want to keep the tension on my lat, right? So, because I'm in the boat of you can bias your upper mid lat and your lower lat, right? So, this one we're gonna hit our upper and mid lat, and yeah. So let's get into it. The grip is always hard to put on this one. I can't lie. I think that was like 4. Holy shit. Yeah. I'll usually take a little rest in between my unilateral movements, like tricep, lateral raise, not so much calf raises. I've been doing those single-legged recently, but I don't know. I don't really want to rest for calves, so we just hit that other side right away. So yeah, you'll benefit from taking your rest period in between your unilateral movements, because even though I'm doing low reps and it's less taxing on my cardiovascular system, you're still being affected by the less oxygen you have in, your system, and the effort you just put in, it's gonna take a little bit out of you. And by doing that, you'll not put as much neural drive and effort into your next set. So if you do the same order, right, like right lat, left lat, or right calf, left calf, over time you're gonna grow an asymmetry. So we want to take a little bit of a rest in between, not too much. I mean, I'm probably just gonna go right back into it right now, but at least a little bit. Wait till you're fresh, wait till you're mentally recovered. It's all about perceived effort. If you feel like you're putting a lot of effort into your set, you're gonna be able to give less effort, right? But if your perceived effort is less and you're enjoying the workout, you're pumped, ready for a set, motivated, you're gonna put in less perceived effort, but you're gonna be able to actually put in more effort, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but you get what I'm saying. Let's go. SBL Chud hits his head on the lat pull down. All right, so just going to the lat pull down now, wide lat pull down. I don't really want to come back to it, so if there is crossover fatigue, I don't really care. So but yeah, what should we talk about? I've been trying to standardize my form on this because I was kind of crunching a little bit. I want to keep my spine up, stationary, only move my arms or my elbows to my hips, right? So all right, let's get this. That was a good set. I think I only got 4 though. All right, skipping back to upper body now, upper chest fly. Now, I think, variation is key, obviously, because hypertrophy is muscle fiber specific. If you're not targeting a muscle, you're not building it. So you obviously want more variation, but I honestly don't think you need this. If you're doing a shoulder press, with kind of deeper range of motion, you're getting enough upper chest stimulus, and it's such a small muscle. It really doesn't matter unless you're kind of more intermediate or advanced trainee. So like if you're a beginner, you don't really need an upper chest workout, I think, until later. I don't know how much we got there, maybe 4 or 5. I'm a low rep guy. I think technique is more
important than, low reps. I think rep range is just a tool. People have gotten big on 8 to 12. People have gotten big on 12 to 15. People have gotten big on, 6 to 8. It doesn't really matter, your rep range. You need to be lifting intense, lifting with effort, tracking your lifts, making sure you're progressing, making sure you're recovering. Rep range doesn't really matter. Split doesn't really matter. Split just gives you a way to structure your sets per week. Split means absolutely nothing, but anyways, enough yapping. We'll get on to the next exercise. All right, single leg calf raise. We're upping the weight a little bit, so we'll see how much we get. Already warmed up. Just did like 2 reps of, I don't know, maybe 75% of the weight. But yeah, lift's going good. I feel, we had an early morning lift, but I'm feeling good, feeling refreshed. Carbs are digested. Had our pre-workout meal the second we woke up. Went down there, whipped it up real quick, scarfed that down. Now, I made a video yesterday on not watching your phone when you eat and scarfing down your meal in 20-30 seconds. And you need to set a timer, like be present when you eat. This is why you're feeling hungry all throughout the day and you're never feeling full. It's because you're having an insane dopamine hit from your phone, your favorite show, and then all the added sweeteners and sugar-frees and diet this in your bowl. Bro, eat bland food, eat whole foods. It's honestly better to not really like food when you're cutting, because then you'll just eat it later in the day or not really care about not eating your food, right? Now, it's not to say you should just go and starve yourself, but can I say starve on this app? I don't know. Anyways, we don't need to rest for this, but let's just get into it. We've yapped enough. Only a 4 repper, but up the weight, so I'm not really mad at that. The thing is you need to do what you enjoy, right? Like I was saying about the perceived effort. If I enjoy this one more, I feel like I'm putting in less effort for this one compared to that one. So I'm able to put more effort and neural drive into targeting my actual muscle. Now, we don't need these for the set, so we're just gonna get right into it. I might have been heaving it a little too much at the start of this set, but it didn't feel like it was coming off my calves, so I think we're good. But lost you guys there. Yeah, let's head on to the next one. All right, hip adduction. We standardized our form a little bit on this, so we took down the weight a couple sessions ago. So yeah, we're just trying to keep the tension on our adductors. We don't really want to lift off the seat too much. Don't want to have other muscles coming into play to help us move the weight. We want to keep the tension on the targeted muscle. Let's get into it. That was a lot of reps there. Can definitely go up in weight next week. Let's move on. All right, leg extension. You really don't need squats if you're training your other hip flexors, but I don't have a hip thrust here, so, and I don't want to use the Smith, so we just do a squat, like a V squat. So yeah, this is the only muscle that extends your knee is the quad. So the only movement you really need to train it is the leg extension. And actually, if you only do squats, you're not training your rec fem, because you need your hip fixed to train that muscle. If y'all didn't know, but let's get this set. Might have pushed it with that last one, but we're an ego lifter at heart. Last set. Finishing with squats. I don't know if I'd recommend, and I probably wouldn't recommend doing squats right after leg extension, but gym kind of got a little busy at the end, so we had to jump around a little bit. But the most important thing is getting the sets done. So let's go. Four again. That was a good set. I'm cool with four again. All right. All right, boys, great lift. We got to get to work. We are a little late, but that's okay. We're trying to get a video out to you guys, so that's fine. Hopefully, bro, this camera is a little weird when I'm in the car. I don't know why it goes away from the face a little bit, but it's all good. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the lift. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, liking the video, so I do not have to work this 9 to 5 anymore. Much appreciated. I probably will, even if I make it. But, got to keep yourself humble, right? Got to work a 9 to 5 always. But, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next lift.